Hello, I'm Bill LeMay, and thank you for watching Community Matters. We hope you'll continue to watch as we discuss issues facing our community and provide you with the resources and information needed to find solutions. In these unprecedented times, many people's health and wellness routines have changed dramatically. If you're looking for helpful tips on maintaining your overall well-being, we've got you covered. We're joined by Joey Powell, certified personal trainer and group fitness instructor. And Joey, welcome to the show today. Good morning.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, Joey, so getting into training, what in the world got you on that path?
It's a good question. High school, I would say. That's when my passion for fitness started developing. I was doing football, and then in the off season I was doing track and field. So I combined weightlifting with cardio training, started getting into really the science behind weightlifting and the science behind cardio training. So what happened after high school and once I got into college is that my level of fitness started declining. So I exercised less. I wasn't really monitoring my diet. And because of that, there were a couple of years where I noticed a physical change and a mental change. My mood definitely went down a little bit as a result of that. So later on, when I started getting into the professional world, I started developing a better routine for my health and wellness. And I decided that I wanted to help other people with their journeys as well, and really understand more about muscle movement, diets, why people need to do and eat certain things.
Well, if you don't mind, I know we have a lot of people watching sitting on the couch right now. And I bet most people would like to be healthy, stronger, faster, and mental alertness as well is all tied together. So since you have been more or less involved in that, sounds like your whole life, for people who haven't, what can they expect? Let's say today they said, I'm going to call Joey and I'm going to get going on this. What can they expect on the other end of what is work for a lot of people?
So I always say there's never a wrong time to start, and it's never too late to start. Everybody comes at fitness from different levels of experience. So you have people that are a little more advanced, maybe they're athletes and they do more advanced weight training, Olympic lifts, or cardio training. A lot of people live fairly sedentary lifestyles, and a lot of them I find are just busy. I mean, a lot of us in the working class, we don't have a lot of time on our hands to do the things that we wish we could to impact our physical well-being. So what I would do with each individual person, what I would encourage people to do is to find a customized workout plan that fits with their schedule, and above all else, something that they can enjoy. I think that's a real obstacle when people think about getting into a workout program, is that they are afraid of being uncomfortable. Because when we get our heart rate up, when we get our body temperature up, we start to feel uncomfortable. So I think enjoyment and something that is sustainable is key to anyone that's working to or looking to get into fitness.
Yeah, I agree with you. And finding fun in exercise sometimes can be kind of tough for folks. Now, you're a personal trainer, but you also are a group instructor.
Yep.
What is the difference? Obviously, the key difference is you've got more people around, but is there an advantage to being in a group versus by yourself with a trainer?
So group fitness is by far my biggest passion. I love doing group fitness classes. The key difference is that you are not getting an individualized plan. It's not customizable based on what your specific needs are. But with group training, what I love about it is that it helps take out the barrier of exercise, in that some people do find it intimidating. Just to step foot into a gym, it's difficult to know exactly what to do. You may look at other people, see what they're doing, and you think, I don't know how to do that. You may need to be trained how to do that. With group fitness, and especially the classes that I do, a lot of the movements involve very simple exercises that can be done with body weight or very low weight. And anybody from any level of fitness can come in and do them, whether you're just starting out or whether you're a more advanced or at an advanced fitness level. And either way, you're going to have a really good workout. So I personally like it, especially from a social aspect, because if you keep coming to the same class at the same time slot, you start to develop friendships with different people that come into the classes, which is what I really enjoy from my classes.
Now, you talked about a healthy lifestyle. I would assume that's probably, by definition, different for each individual.
Definitely.
As a trainer, how do you assess that?
So to me, a healthy lifestyle, it's not just about physical fitness. It has to do with aspects of mental well-being as well as diet. And when I say diet, I don't believe in certain fad diets or really intense restrictions. I think diets should be fun as well. People like eating food, and I don't think people should not enjoy a diet, especially if they're trying to get to a certain goal in their fitness journey. I think about a healthy lifestyle as developing habits instead of working from the point of view of a sprint versus a marathon. I think everybody's fitness journey should be a marathon, essentially. You should pace yourself in developing healthy routines and making sure that you can keep up with it and achieve long-term goals, not just short-term goals.
How important is the goal?
The goal, I would say, is crucial, especially for people just starting out. What personal trainers like to do is set very specific goals. That's part of the training. Any certification program you go through, it is going to be based on figuring out the client's goal and achieving those in a certain amount of time. Usually that is, for more moderate to advanced individuals, it can be a 4-week plan, it can be an 8-week plan, or it could be a year-long plan. What we're hoping to do within any of those time periods is give the client tools that they need to develop their own habits and a healthy lifestyle.
So once they start achieving a goal, no matter how small it is, generally, I got to believe, you tell me, that is a very positive, motivating factor in order
Absolutely.
to continue, correct?
Yeah, so what I love about it is that you can basically set someone free on their fitness journey. So you give them all of these tools to go to the gym, know exactly what to do, know why they're doing certain exercises. I think that's a huge barrier too, is knowing why certain exercises do certain things. So if someone, for instance, is trying to develop more lower body strength, you need to be able to do the certain exercises that can get you there. Helping clients be able to be autonomous in their fitness journey, that's key. So every plan does have, it doesn't have to be finite, but the goal at the end of it is to make someone a fitness expert in their own way, in a way that works for them.
So you're putting yourself out of a gig, ultimately.
Essentially,
right?
yeah. No, but as long as people can do it themselves. I mean, I enjoy fitness, which is obviously why I got into that industry.
Right.
And I want other people to enjoy fitness as well. It's never really, it's not about the money, I would say. It's about helping people. Because I know personally, living a healthy, active lifestyle is something that has benefited me tremendously. And I know, having not done that in the past, basically taking a few years off, that has really impacted me negatively, and I want to be able to give positive experiences to people.
Awesome. Well, hey, stick around, because when we get back, we'll talk to Joey about COVID and how that's impacted the well-being landscape. Stick around. Welcome back. Today we're discussing health and wellness. COVID has certainly impacted wellness routines, and we're back with Joey Powell to discuss some silver linings. At least I hope there are, Joey. Well, COVID has impacted certainly the gym you worked at. I know it has.
It definitely has, yeah. When we got these North Carolina restrictions because of COVID, gyms were certainly on the list of businesses that had to shut down. Very unfortunate. So I think there was a sudden shock with a lot of people where I don't have a gym anymore, therefore I cannot exercise anymore. Which I was definitely very sad that our gym had to close. But what I found with myself is that there were other things that I didn't do previously that this actually freed me up to do. For instance, at-home workouts I've always been a big advocate for. You can still get a really good workout at home, even if you don't have equipment. Body weight exercise, very easy to do, with some very simple movements. Jogging is something that I never really did as much, and certainly not competitively, never long distance. I started jogging a lot more because, one, I wasn't traveling as much, certainly not to the gym, and two, because it's a very simple way to burn calories, and really what I found to get a little mental clarity. I found it to be a really positive influence in my life, and I actually still do it to this day. I still have a couple days a week that I jog even though gyms are still open. I always say when it comes to a gym membership, I think a lot of people think that a certain obstacle toward increasing their level of fitness is financial. As long as you have a pair of trainers, shoes that are easy to run in or do versatile exercises in, you can still get some pretty decent exercise just going out for a run or staying inside, doing body squats, doing push-ups, really at any level of fitness.
Well, for folks who go to the gym, especially in these groups, there's that, camaraderie, that they self-motivating each other. And that goes away if you're not allowed to go to a gym, I'm assuming.
A little bit.
Can you still get that, get up and go and rock and roll as you would going to the gym?
Well, I would hope so. There are a lot of alternatives to that, I would say. One thing that my gym started doing was online fitness classes. So if you used to go to a class and you really enjoyed it, you can do it at home with an instructor that you're used to teaching that class. Some other things that I found to be really helpful is socially distant outdoor classes. I find that to be in a safe environment, something that can be very effective, as long as people are distanced. And some people do prefer to wear masks, but it's been proven to be safer to exercise outside versus indoors.
Mm-hmm. That's true. For folks then who have daily routines and they're somewhat disrupted, for instance, somebody watching now, what kind of things specifically would you recommend, let's say, in-home exercises, for instance?
So the first thing I would recommend is getting out of the house and doing a little walking. I would recommend that to anyone, especially someone who is fairly sedentary. And by sedentary, I mean someone who sits, for instance, for work. A lot of us sit at a desk, even when we're working from home. Mm-hmm. It's very good to get up and walk around, even around the house. Some other things I would recommend are yoga. Yoga, I've seen, it is intimidating for some people. It's even intimidating for me because I'm not very flexible, and it's something that I'm working on. But at-home yoga is something that is very easy to access, even on YouTube. So free online yoga classes is something I would recommend to anybody to improve their level of flexibility. Other things I would recommend, it's really simple, just stay moving in some way. I think a lot of us, especially if you track your calories in any kind of way, anyone who has a fitness tracker, a Fitbit, for instance, you'll definitely see a shift in the amount of steps you take, the amount of calories you burn. If you just take some steps around the house, do some body squats here and there, really just stay moving any way you can.
Now, someone who may be watching this morning, they may want more energy, or maybe they really want some pretty good abs and looking good for next summer.
Yeah, they can do it.
And all of this you're saying you can accomplish at home, and you can do so with if you don't have a weight machine, what do you do?
So it's a good question, and the analogy I always like to use is cavemen. So our bodies were built to move. Mm-hmm. We used to hunt and gather, and essentially we would have to move to survive. Cavemen did not have gyms.
That's a motivator, isn't it?
It is. It is. So we do not necessarily need gyms. I love the gym. I'm always an advocate of gyms. We don't necessarily need them to develop the body that we need. So different things that people can do at home. I'm always a proponent of resistance training, so any kind of weight you can find, and it doesn't have to be heavy weight. You don't have to buy a squat rack or a bench rack. You can buy resistance bands, and resistance bands can be fairly affordable, and you can use them for any of the basic movements that you would use in a gym, for bicep curls, for chest exercises, back exercises, really anything that you need, you can exercise that muscle group. And I think people would be really surprised how much of a difference they can see in their body just by doing body weight exercises, really squats, push-ups, and pull-ups for those who can do pull-ups. Those are very simple exercises that are still very effective. And I'm always an advocate for certain primal movements. So things that don't involve just stable movement, something that can involve some level of flexibility. Flow, for instance, is a type of yoga that is strength-based plus yoga. That's something I advocate for as well.
Well, you can be exercising for strength. You could be exercising for more energy, so you don't puff when you walk up the stairs. There's all kinds.
Yep.
What for somebody watching right now? Ultimately, you know, you're a young dude and you're in good shape. I'm not so young and I'm not in the greatest shape. Ultimately, what does this mean for somebody? I guess I'm asking, if you were to talk to the viewer right now, why it's something they really should consider and how it plays out, not only today, but in the long run.
So my biggest advice, and especially for fitness, I tell people that you are doing it for not just longevity of your life, but also for quality of life. So we all would like to add years to our lifespan, but on the other side of it, we would like to live a fairly comfortable life, free of certain illnesses that are preventable. As we get older, obviously, our flexibility can decrease, our strength can decrease, but being able to stay active, and especially to be able to interact with our friends and family members and not be held back by certain illnesses toward our later years, I think that's really important.
All right, well, don't you go anywhere, because we'll be back with some easy tips to help you live a healthier lifestyle. Welcome back. Joey Powell is with us again to give us some important health and wellness tips that maybe you haven't heard about. And Joey, I'm always looking for tips, and especially if they're easy tips. So let's talk about some things that I've found out lately that is really quite important, and that is stretching before you do something. I remember growing up and my gym coach said, you know, you got to stretch, but I never took it seriously. Why is it so important?
Stretching, I find, is something that fights body imbalances. Imbalances are things we don't know we have until it's too late, essentially. Just us sitting here now, this is putting strain on our hip flexors, for instance. Those are something that we need to stretch. A lot of people equate stretching to something you do before or after exercise. For instance, you lift weights, you may need to stretch that muscle group that you just worked out, which obviously, yes, but I think just like you want to eat protein every day instead of just during the times that you exercise, you want to stretch every day as well to make sure that you are correcting those imbalances. Stretching has become a huge benefit to me, especially. And again, because of COVID, I found a little more time to focus on stretching. And I found that just sitting like this, for instance, I used to not be able to sit because my hips were too tight. I couldn't do it. And as you get older, that inflexibility that will increase. What happens is that the tightness, it starts to bind our joints a little bit. The way I sort of equate it, and this goes into hydration as well, is that your body is essentially a machine. It has gears and it has parts. It needs elasticity to move, and it also needs lubrication in order to move. As you get older and you have a little knee pain, you have a little elbow pain, many times, and what people don't know is that it's because of improper stretching.
You know, it's interesting, and a lot of us who experience that, we go to the doctor and we get a pill to try to get past it. It's much better to flex and deviate. You mentioned hydration too, and I'm assuming that's drinking water. I see people who drink, they have water constantly in their hand. How important is it?
It's very important. I say that for any kind of wellness plan, fitness, I believe, is probably 3rd or 4th. The first is sleep, definitely by far the most important. The second is hydration. Hydration is basically giving us fuel to do the things that we need to do. That includes not just fitness, but just daily activities. Our bodies are constantly getting rid of water, and they need to reabsorb that water. I find that a lot of people, they feel a little down. They have low energy, and what they decide to do is drink a cup of coffee for caffeine. A lot of times when we're feeling tired, it's because we are dehydrated, and a lot of people don't realize that. So if you are thirsty, you're already too dehydrated, it's always good to continue to drink water throughout the day. I personally always start my day with about, I'd say, not too much, maybe 30 fluid ounces of water. I make sure that's the first thing I put into my body because we wake up dehydrated. A lot of us will have gone maybe 8 hours or more without drinking, and our body's already in a dehydrated state. Most of us wake up, the first thing we do is drink coffee, which makes us even more dehydrated. A lot of us may feel a fog in the morning that we can really get rid of by drinking a little water.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's some good advice. Now, one thing I can do is sleep. I'm very good at that.
Good.
It's important, isn't it?
It's very important.
Why is it important?
Sleep is, I believe, the number one thing that you can do to improve your mood. A lot of people, especially in the United States, feel very overworked, and a lot of times stress from our jobs, they keep us up at night. So when we don't sleep, that affects not just our mood, but also our cognition. We can't complete tasks as well as we could on a good night's sleep. Also, and this is really fascinating, it screws up our taste buds. So we start to crave food, so junk food. You may notice if you go a week without sleeping very well, you may start to crave certain junk foods. The smell even, when you smell it, it starts to be this tantalizing thing, like I need to eat pizza now. We can really regulate our bodies and our cravings by just sleeping a little bit more.
Boy, understanding what you understand, it really, I don't know, it makes sense then how the dots connect and how you may feel a certain way, and it's as simple as drinking water. This is the time of year when people, they jump on board with a lot of different fads. Maybe it's a diet, and I don't know what's out there this year, but can you just give us a little insight on the fad diets out there and what we shouldn't be doing?
So I personally do not like the term diet, and I'm not a registered dietitian, so I don't create meal plans for people, but I do give helpful tips based on my knowledge of nutrition and my experiences. The key thing to note is that there is no one-size-fits-all diet, just like there's no one-size-fits-all workout plan. What a lot of people will do is hop on the fad diet train. More recently, I've seen it, especially in the past 10 years, the keto diet, for instance, has been a hugely popular diet plan, which it's very simple, and I think that's why people like it. You essentially just cut carbs completely out of your diet. When we look at our nutrition and what we're putting into our bodies, we have three main macronutrients. That's protein, carbohydrates, and fats. Carbohydrates, those become glycogen in our body, and that is our body's main source of fuel. So if we are taking out the main source of fuel, bad things can start to happen. There is a certain positive impact where you will start to lose weight very rapidly. And if that's your goal, then you will achieve it by doing a keto diet. But you may feel a little low energy. You may notice that you're suffering in terms of cognition. Your mental well-being will not be as good, and your mood shifts just a little bit. This doesn't happen to everyone, but I'd say a lot of the people that I've spoken to that have tried to do it, they have felt what they call the keto flu. It's about a 2-week period where your body is adjusting to something because it is starved from an essential macronutrient. So if people do want to try that, I always say every body is different. So I always say work with a registered dietitian to figure out what foods do and do not work for you. And above all, try to enjoy the diet. I don't think a diet should be so restrictive that you hate waking up and eating and you're not looking forward to your next meal. There should be balance, and you should still enjoy eating food, or else you're just going to drop off.
Well, I think being healthy and well, there's no downside to that, is it?
I don't think so. No.
For the folks watching, how do they get a hold of you?
Best way to get a hold of me is via Instagram. I can be found at GymstagramJoey. That's my handle. So if they want to message me, ask me any questions, I'm an open book.
Joey, pleasure meeting you, man. Thank you so much for everything.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. We hope you've enjoyed today's show. If you have any questions or would like to know more, visit our website at RaleighCW.com and myrdctv.com. I'm Bill LeMay. Thank you for watching Community Matters. We'll see you next week.